Bada boom, bada bang, bada bop. We have the $500 race shoe in the house. Adidas Adidas Pro Evo 2. There, I nailed it. I used to always call the old one the Evo Pro. Now, if you want to buy this shoe, you're probably not going to be allowed to. This is my new thing. I'm trying out. I tried it out yesterday. You're not going to be allowed to because I know your spouse is not going to let you spend $500 on a race shoe. However, if you sell 7 of your shoes, maybe if you sell 3 of your race shoes, you can buy this next time there's a drop. So if you do want to buy it and you do want to sell your race shoes, maybe you should list them on the Supwell app. What do you think about that? Supwell app, best buy, sell, and trade marketplace out there. It's not only the best place for deals, it's the best place to liquidate your assets so you can accumulate more. It's also the best place to connect with other people who are interested in the culture of shoes. If you're interested in things like the leaks of shoes like the New Balance Ellipse, which we threw up on the Supwell Running Instagram yesterday, make sure you're on the app because people are also posting leaks here, links to new shoes that are coming out when there's small inventory. For example, when this goes up for the next drop, bang, people post it on the Supwell app. So if you're a running shoe sicko, come into the Supwell app. I'm not going to tell you that it's going to save you money. It may or may not save you money. We do have the Running Warehouse discount code, but it will fill your heart regardless with connection to other running shoe addicts. All right, enjoy today's video. Bang! We have the Adidas Pro Evo 2 in the house for review. This was $521.36. I don't usually remember how much I paid for things with taxes and shipping included, but this was so egregious that it just burned into my brain. $521.36. $521.36. And the thing with these shoes, in any shoe above $275, if you buy any shoe above $275, you can just know the brand randomly selected the price. If you pay $300 for a shoe, that's just a random markup. If you pay $400 for a shoe, that's a random markup. Why do you think there's no shoes that are $400? Do you think there's no shoes where the development costs and the research and the marketing costs would have made the price of the shoe $300 or $400? It's because no other shoe is priced $400. So this $500 thing, this is the whole question, is it worth it? They just randomly decided to make this $500. They could have made it $600. They could have made it $400, but $500, that just sounded better. That just sounded better to Adidas. This is made up. The entire concept of money is made up. That's what the shoes like this make me realize. It doesn't even matter. $521.36. Who cares? Who cares? And of course, I got this from Running Warehouse. All right, so what is this thing? This is Adidas's top tier race shoe. They've got some other race shoes in their lineup. Ooh, let's hold on. Ready? We're going to snap, and then the lighting is going to be better. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Bang. This is the first generation of this model right here, the Adidas Pro Evo 1. And in this generation, it was all about lightweight and also about single use. They were calling this the single use race shoe. It looks very much like a prototype from the upper down to the midsole and the outsole. I have the first generation of this. They came out with a 0.5 revision of this. I don't know if they sold it, but for their elite athletes that had a different outsole. This is the liquid rubber style on the outsole. This was designed to be the fastest possible shoe for one marathon. Now, one site, I think it was Outside Online, I believe, did a 300-mile review. The whole concept of their review was how many miles can we get on this before it goes, and they got 300 miles. So the whole thing with the durability was that if you are an elite, if you're an Adidas athlete, you're not going to want to use this past 1 mile because that's when the 4%, 3%, or whatever efficiency benefits wouldn't be there. But of course, you can run in it past that mark. You're just not going to get as much bounce and speed assistance. Now, if you look at the way that this thing is put together, you can see exactly what I'm saying. This upper here is basically see-through. It has this raw, unfinished look. The foam even looks like it was cut with a knife. And the whole thing with this foam as well, the Lightstrike Pro Evo foam, is that it's gone through a different manufacturing process. They didn't do the final steps of compressing it to give it the durability that another foam like the Lightstrike Pro and the standard Adios would have. So the whole concept here was, can we make a shoe that's as fast as possible, disregarding any sort of other constraints we might have to sell a consumer product, like having it be more stable, like having it be more durable. Now, the surprising thing with it was that the stability was actually really good, and the ride experience was actually really good. Now, it's a $500 shoe, and you're going to say, of course, the ride experience is really good. But that's not what I mean. The ride experience was very approachable. It felt like a Saucony Endorphin Pro 3. It didn't feel like this wild and crazy, uncontrolled ride. It didn't feel like I was stepping into a NASCAR cockpit on my second day of having a driver's license and being forced to drive a NASCAR. Some shoes can feel like that. For example, the Puma Fast-R 3. No, this felt like the best version of what a normal race shoe like a Saucony Endorphin or a Nike Alphafly would be. You don't have an aggressive cutout on the heel. It has a very smooth rocker geometry, also an aggressive forefoot rocker up here. The foam isn't too soft and squishy. It's right in that middle zone. So everything about the shoe is just completely dialed in. And especially for my preferences, I don't prefer soft and squishy foams. I don't like weird things going on with the geometry. It just felt nice. Now, I'm actually not too sensitive to weight, so the fact that this was so light didn't blow my mind. And I don't really feel the lightweight on foot, except in something like the Streak Fly, where it's the lightweight combined with that streamlined feel. But what the weight's going to do is, over the course of a race, it will actually help you run faster to have a lighter shoe on versus a heavier shoe, because you're carrying less weight. And here's the thing I learned as well. Having that weight be at the end of your foot versus on your body makes a big difference, because it's the end of that pendulum swinging. Now, some other things about the OG $500 race shoe here. It did fit pretty snug. It had this race inspired fit, and again, because their constraints here were basically nothing, they didn't have any other requirements other than to make the fastest possible shoe. Comfort wasn't there either. If you look at the way that this thing is built, right in the middle or bottom here, you don't have any insole. It's basically just this strobel board right on top of the foam. Of course, you have the carbon fiber rods or plate inside of the midsole here. But if you take a look at the difference between the Adios Pro 4, there's so many more elements of this shoe that are designed for comfort. The upper is more substantial. It still is a nice and lightweight upper, but more substantial upper. You have at least some sort of insole situation going on here. It's just a shoe that's built more for durability and comfort versus just pure speed. Now, if you've watched this channel before, you know that the Adios Pro 4 was not my favorite shoe. I've actually been debating recently whether I should get another pair, because look at this. Made in China, but that's not what I'm telling you to look at. US size 11. All of my race shoes are a size 10.5, and I actually did get this in a 10.5, and then I bought it in an 11 as well, because this is at the time where there wasn't that much availability, so I was just seeing what I could get my hands on. The 11 came first, and everyone at the time was saying, you got to go up half a size. You got to go up half a size. I just don't like how this feels. The foam feels too soft. It just feels too cushioned in the heel, and going down half a size is not going to change the feeling of the softness, but I'm wondering if it's going to make that heel feeling less terrible. So maybe I'll give this another shot. I still don't think I would race in this, just because with these shoes, like the Saucony Endorphin Elite, for example, I tried both a 10.5 and 11, and it didn't change my experience with the shoe. I do think it could potentially change just how bulky the heel feels, but extremely soft race shoe in the Adios Pro 4. And what was interesting to me about this was that the Adios Pro 3, which I don't have that anymore, I actually gave that away, and I think I gave that away when I got this. That thing was beloved for being a stable Goldilocks zone banger. What's the Goldilocks zone? Not too soft, not too firm. That's where the Pro Evo foam is. And regardless of what you think about the Adios Pro 4, whether you like it or not, everyone can agree that it is a very soft race shoe, maybe even softer than the Vaporfly. So Adidas has gone in a different direction with this. I loved that in their top tier racing shoe, they didn't do any gimmicks. This is a 100% gimmick free shoe, the $500 one. You can't say the same about their 250. So we open up this video talking about price and what does it mean, and these prices are made up. I do wish that they had an option in the core of their lineup that was more in the Goldilocks zone, because this $500 race shoe, the things that I like about it, they actually have nothing to do with the expensive parts. The expensive parts of this are the foam and the lightweight. You can make a not too soft, not too firm foam that's not going to cost so much to develop. Tons of other brands have foams that are right in the middle, like Puma, like Saucony. It's not the lightweight that made me love this shoe. It's not the fact that it has this weird upper that makes me like the shoe. It's the geometry. It doesn't cost anything to put a good geometry on a shoe. Well, that's not true, but it doesn't cost you any more to put a good geometry on a shoe than a bad geometry on a shoe, especially if you already have it developed here. So what would be nice is if they had an option similar to this that wasn't as expensive, and they do have the Evo SL. Let's take a look at that. And I actually think if they took this Evo SL here, put the Adidas Pro 4 upper on it, and a full-length carbon fiber plate, you could sell that for whatever you want. That would be one of my favorite race shoes on the market. But with the current construction of the Evo SL here, I just don't find myself reaching for this because it's not as comfortable as a lot of the daily shoes that I like. For example, yesterday, I did two runs, both on the treadmill. In the morning, I went for the Aero Goat 3 from Salomon. Just nice cruising recovery miles, by the way. If you want something aggressive for the treadmill this week, I know it's raining a lot, give baby Kia a chance. If you're in my generation and you miss old school Waka and Meek Mill, baby Kia is going to give you those vibes. It's very aggressive. So if you don't like that type of music, don't even give it a shot. But that's what I was listening to yesterday. It turned a mediocre run into a good run. Shout out baby Kia putting in work. But then afternoon run, I went for the Nimbus. So those are the types of shoes that I use for my everyday miles. Things like the Aero Goat, the Nimbus, even the Bandai, the Vomero. I haven't even found myself reaching for the Nova Blast all that much recently because with my training right now, I'm either running in shoes like this, these carbon-plated race shoes, or comfort shoes. The Evo SL is a Zone 3 champion, but what is great about this shoe is that the geometry is nice for running faster. It's just it doesn't have enough bite in the forefoot for me because it doesn't have that full carbon plate. It can feel a bit too soft. But what they've done with the Evo SL is trickled down that geometry and overall feel of the $500 Evo Pro into a much more affordable package. I just wish what they did was take this and put it into their normal racing shoe. So maybe that's what we'll be getting in the Adidas Pro 5, potentially a shoe that's firmer, not too firm, but man, this thing is soft. So with that, let's see what this next gen $500 shoe gives us today. Bada boom. Ooh, look at that. $500, and they gave me a, what did they give me? It's like a recycled shopping bag. That's actually not bad, though. This is kind of drip. I'm going to give this to Charles. Yeah, this is a good mom swag bag for sure. Ooh, look at that. It also has the compartments, too. I think it's for shoes, but you could put like dirty diapers on one side and then snacks on the other. That's a bad combination. Maybe you want to put clean diapers and snacks, but something. This is going to be a good dad drip or mom swag bag. That's going into the rotation for sure. All right, bada boom. Bada bang. Oh, man. This thing is thick and chunky. Holy cow. Look at this rocker. Bro, this is crazy. This is giving me PTSD to high school geometry. Look at that angle. The thing is, high school geometry was actually the one math class that I was good at. I was terrible at all these math classes. But the thing, Mr. Doss, my high school geometry teacher, he was married to Miss Sendos, who was my English teacher, and I was always into English. I liked it. I won't even say I was better at English than math, but I applied myself more. But in Mr. Doss's class, geometry, I did like it because he was a chill guy. And he told me, man, he pulled me aside and he said, where are you applying to colleges? And I told him, and he said, bro, you got to up your targets. You got to up your standards. You got to believe in yourself. So I did. And then I got into much better schools than I would have otherwise. So shout out to the people like Mr. Doss, helping kids believe in themselves. But yeah, this angle is crazy. Look at this rocker here. And it's also looks crazier because of the way that they've shaved off this foam on the outside of the forefoot here. So it's like an angle on an angle. You know what I mean? Because if you look at it from the inside, it's smoother, but then from the outside, it's cut off. So bottom here, you have the same liquid rubber setup, and it is slightly wet this morning, and I think it actually might rain, so we'll see how this does, but it's cool. Different setup here with the way that they've done these lines. It's almost negative space, which is sick. This does look really cool, man. And then you have just the forefoot or the heel pads on the back. You have a full pad of rubber on the lateral or outside, and on the medial side, you do have those lines again. This is a really well put together shoe. The odd thing for me, though, is this colorway. Grant was asking me what I think of this colorway. So the other Adios Pro 4 that I actually had in a 10.5, and I gave it away. It was in this colorway. This was the Running Warehouse exclusive colorway. So they used it already. So whenever I see this colorway, I think of the Adios Pro 4. It's just a weird thing to do, to reuse a colorway from your lower tier race shoe on your most expensive one as the debut shoe. So not the biggest fan of this, not my favorite, but it's a good looking shoe. Adidas has the best styling, I think, just the classic styling with the 3 stripes. Most notable thing, other than the design of it here, is, man, this midfoot, the foam you're getting is just insane. They've almost done the Hoka Cielo X1 geometry trickeration here, but the difference is the back isn't as cut out. You don't have as aggressive as a heel bevel to get that midfoot foam. But if we take our calipers, look at this, man. This is just eye test here. This looks like about 53 millimeters of foam in the middle. This is just craziness. Look at that. 46 in the midfoot. Let's see, 47. Yeah, dude, that is wild. So you're getting 47 millimeters of foam right in the midfoot here. And then at the point where the rocker angles up, you're getting 38 millimeters of foam. Let's compare that to the OG here. 43, and then under the forefoot, let's see, right at the point of the rocker, 35, and then right at the midfoot, 42. Okay, you still are getting some decent stack. For some reason, it just looks so big. It looks so chunky. Yeah, 47 in the middle versus, what is it here? 42, 43. So they have gone up by a few millimeters in the middle. We'll see what the weight difference is. Let's compare that to the Cielo. So look at this. This is the Hoka Cielo X1, one of the most beloved race shoes of the past few years. This is actually the shoe that once Adidas stopped selling the Adios Pro 3, a lot of hobby joggers migrated toward. So it has that not too soft, not too firm feeling. Also the wider base and the more stable planted feel with the bounce. That's what people loved about the Adios Pro 3. And why it's so weird that Adidas moved away from it. Now, one thing to note is that a lot of those people who used to love the Adios Pro 3, they are training in the Evo SL now. So they did find their replacement for it, kind of, I guess, but it's not the same. People aren't going to be doing their races in the Evo SL. At least the sickos on the Supwell app are going to be racing in carbon. But if we take a look at the midfoot here on the Cielo, look at that, 43 in the midfoot, and then under the forefoot, it's just about the same. I'm trying to take it from, the foam here does wrap up more than it does on the Evo Pro, so I'm trying to take it of where it stops, 42 millimeters under the forefoot here. So very similar amount of foam in the new Evo Pro, $500, to the Cielo X1 OG. Another thing I'm noticing, away from the foam now, up to the upper. This upper looks way better. It looks like way more of a legitimate upper. It just looks like real material versus this, I don't even know what this would be called. And by the way, I did this YouTube short and Instagram reel on this a few months ago, but you can see how much this thing has degraded, the quality of it and the color just from sitting in here, and has that orangey, yellow, brown patina just from the oxidization and the decay over time. But guess what? It's a metaphor for life. $500, $250. If you're a millionaire, billionaire, $0 in your bank account, you too will decay over time. Maybe that's what Adidas was trying to teach us with the Pro Evo 1. This upper looks way more durable, though. The material, it is silver, so maybe that's giving in part of that, but it just looks like a better material. It doesn't seem as finicky and lightweight. Let's see. Pressing in the foam here. Foam actually feels pretty similar. Yeah, the foam feels pretty similar. I'm not sure if they've changed it. I don't think they've done any massive changes to the compound. This isn't any new breakthrough compound versus the other one. It's just the key thing here is going to be the geometry in the rocker. This is one of the craziest race shoe geometries I've seen, and I'm really excited to see how it responds to putting that power through the midsole. If you've watched this channel, you heard me talk about my style of running and the shoes I prefer. I like them substantial in that midsection here so I can drive the force through and bada boom, bada bang. Then we're cooking. A lot of these shoes, which are too soft, they don't have enough cushion for the pushing off the midfoot here. I don't like them when they're all just thin right here. So this looks like it has that more thick and robust feel, which I love. Some other shoes which have done that for me. Boom. Nike Alphafly 3, and you can even just see here, look at how much foam you're getting in the midfoot, and it also has this air pod that prevents it from feeling too soft and squishy. And then the latest shoe, I'll go through some of these other ones later, but the latest shoe to hit the market that's at the top right now is this, bang, Puma Fast-R 3. And this is exactly what I'm talking about, $300. Why did they choose to price it at $300? Because it sounds good. That's why. $250 is market standard. So here's the thing. You can price your shoe at $250 if you want to be competitive, and then your margin is your margin, or you can price your shoe below $250, like this one here, and you think you're doing value pricing. Maybe you'll get more people to buy it because it's cheaper, and this is one of the best shoes, by the way, Puma Deviate Nitro Elite 3. This is my go-to recommendation, less than half the cost of this Evo Pro here. The other option is to price your shoe above $250, like the Fast-R 3, and they did all these lab tests on this thing, which proved that it was the most efficient shoe of all time, and I can verify it is very fast. It feels terrible for jogging, one of the most uncomfortable shoes I've ever worn, and this is exactly what I was saying about the Evo Pro 1. It was not one of the most uncomfortable shoes I've ever worn. It was not a highly compromised shoe. It felt like a normal daily trainer at those jogging paces. It was maybe even more comfortable than the Evo SL. So they didn't make as many compromises and trade-offs with the shoe, interestingly, as Puma did with the Fast-R 3. This thing feels like it was engineered for pure speed with no care at all to how it would feel for other types of training, for long runs, for any days when you're not feeling the pace. So this is the top of the throne right now for speed. And again, you can see we have the thicker midsection here with this foam that is not too soft. So for me, that's the winning recipe for a shoe, having enough cushion in the midfoot and the forefoot to push off, great rocker geometry, and then the third thing, that foam can't be too soft. So let's put this thing through the lab, and then we'll see how it does. Moment of truth. Ah, what the heck? Dude, I was convinced. You know why? Because this one says this too shall pass. Alright, weighing in the Evo Pro. Let's get the OG on the scale right here. The OG comes in at 145.83. That is lightweight, but it is not the lightest weight shoe at the shoe market. Let me go grab the lightest weight shoe. Man, I said I would leave this thing in the box, and then I just keep taking it out. Nike Streak Fly 2. You can see how lightweight this thing is. It's also offset. 138 grams. For some context, a normal marathon race shoe weighs, look at this. This is the other Adidas shoe, 213. So the median is around 220 in my size. Maybe it's shifted down now because these brands are getting lighter, but this is 213. Shoes like the Metaspeed shoes and the Nike Vaporfly in my size are below 200, but a lot of them, especially my favorites, the ones that have that more substantial cushion, are clustered around 220, like the Nike Alphafly here. You can see this thing is coming in at 225. So moment of truth here. Let's see where this Adios, I keep calling it Adios. I guess it is technically Adios. It's an Adidas Pro Evo. Let's see where this guy weighs in. It does have the tag on. With the tag, let's see. Ooh, 150.6. Let's take the tag off. I don't think it's going to be very heavy. The thing is with the tag, I want to keep these new and fresh. But I'm about to go run in the rain with them anyway. Yeah, that thing doesn't weigh anything. That was 1 gram. 149.3. So it actually went up in weight. This is what I was saying. It's not a new breakthrough foam or anything. The main change here is the geometry. So 149.3 in the new generation, and the first is 145.8. So this is going to be an interesting update here. They haven't done anything in terms of making this entirely new, exciting tech. It's just, can the geometry here give us more? And with that, let's see how much stack we're getting in the back. Moment of truth. I'm guessing this is right around 38. So left side. Look at that, 39.8, right under that maximum. So that's right where I would expect. Let's take a QA check. Let's get it on the other side. Now, what is going to be interesting is after we put some miles on this, we can see how much it's compressed. And these are very lightweight shoes. Don't get me wrong. This is still super lightweight. And also I'm seeing here, they still do have that unfinished inside. They put maybe a slightly better material on this, or they just made it black, but it still does have some of that raw unfinished look on the inside. All right, here we go. Right side. Ooh, right side is 40.2. So slight variation, but nothing to write home about. Let's get this other one on the scale and see how the QA is. And this is the thing, $500 shoe. Is the QA going to be good or is it not? Adidas is usually pretty good. Zero this thing out. Right side comes in. Ooh. I'll let you decide. What do you think? $500 for a pair of shoes? 140 on the right side, 149 on the left side. You know what? I'm not going to let you decide. That is disrespectful. That is, man. Just for some comparison here, Nike Vaporfly on the left side, 186.2. On the right side, 185.5. Okay, let's see another shoe here. Tracksmith Elliott Runner. Not a real shoe. It's just a lifestyle shoe that just looks good. The Elliott Racer, 239 on the left side. 237 on the right side in this fake race shoe. That's not even a real shoe. Okay. Let's see what the QA on their entry-level speed training shoe, the Boston. 274 on the left side. 275 on the right side. So Adidas can QA the shoes. I guess they just decided not to do it on the $500 Racer. This is the type of thing that makes me annoyed. What am I paying for in a $500 shoe if it's not the quality? And I'm sure it's still going to be fast and bouncy, but come on, Adidas. $500 shoe? You got to do better than that. You got to do 10-gram difference. That's dang near a 10% weight difference. That's about a 7% weight difference. That's a lot. That is a big weight difference on a 150 or 140-gram shoe. That's a fail. Let's throw the fail sound in here. I don't even have a fail sound. I have to look up a fail sound just for these. Fail sound, go. behind and that I don't understand is the outrage on expensive shoes. Because all of these brands, even with the expensive shoes, they have such great quality shoes that are not expensive. You can get the Ultra Boost, which will last for hundreds, maybe even 1,000 miles for $130. You can get the Audi Star 3 for $130. So it's like with any enthusiast hobby or collector pursuit, like with whiskey, for example, in North Carolina. So I used to collect bourbon and scotch, but there's a system called the allocation system, and the ABC stores down here, they'll get very limited stock of the hype stuff. Then you have to enter a lottery, or if you go across the border in South Carolina, you can camp out early and try to get the expensive bottles. And they'll go for, I don't know, 100, 200, 300, 400, even more expensive. Or you can just buy the really good stuff that's $50 a bottle or $60 a bottle. It's the same thing with cars. Toyota makes Lexus supercars and big expensive trucks and SUVs, and they also have smaller, more affordable ones, even bigger, more affordable ones like the Highlander. So I don't know. I can't get behind the outrage on running shoe prices, because it's not like brands are starting to price the Pegasus at $180 and the Audi Zero SL2 at $300. There still is a lot of value out there, and you don't have to buy the expensive shoes if you don't want them, but I don't think it's a bad thing for running to have some of these more collector items that are expensive. That's my $500 on it anyway. Walk test. I just did a deals video too, so if you want to find good deals, make sure to check that out. And also, of course, we have the Supwall app, which is the best marketplace for shoe deals. And man, I grew up in a household on a very tight budget, so I can appreciate that. But that's why there's different segments in the market. You have your shoes that will be durable training shoes, even great race shoes you can find on deals these days for under $150, not even just on Supwall, but if you looked in eBay, Poshmark, then you have shoes like the DV8 Nitro Elite 3 that are half the price on this. So yeah, this shoe doesn't concern me. What concerns me more is the Ghost going up to $150. That's not good. That's shoeflation right there. But in terms of the feel of this, very unremarkable on foot. It's not super uncomfortable or anything, and you can feel the toes so pointed up. And by the way, this is technically a 3mm drop, 39, 36. I checked on Running Warehouse yesterday, and it feels negative droppy, so it feels like my toes are higher up. It's a really weird feeling shoe. The other thing is, it's not very soft on step-in. It almost feels firm, which is good because it will soften up as we run. But just something to note, the step-in feel is definitely not one of comfort here. It feels like it's fine-tuned for speed. Geometry is nice. You can feel the rock. Yeah, really unremarkable shoe. The foam feels very similar to the Evo Pro OG, nearly identical. I don't think they've made any changes to this just in terms of the feel. The only difference is this crazy rocker up here in the front. And again, this is what I'm saying. The things that they've done to this shoe that are good, like the rocker and the foam tuning, those aren't what's making it $500. You could put this rocker on a $250 shoe, and a lot of brands do put this rocker on a $250 shoe. All right, run this morning. I'm going to get some sort of a workout in. I'm deciding if I'm going to do the community challenge workout or a threshold one. I actually have to change my shirt. I'm still in my Supwall shirt, so I'm going to do that, and then we can hit the road. I'm in the never-before-seen, unsold to the public gray Supwall crewneck. Bust down logo and everything. Where is it? Bang! Might sell these for $500. Yes, I'm walking in the house with my shoes on. It's just my office. But I want to quickly open this up before we go, actually. So I ordered a bunch of these singlets on Running Warehouse because I want to start testing more singlets this year. I usually run shirtless in the summer, but now that I know that people are watching me in this neighborhood, literally in real life, waiting to call the authorities on me, I'd rather be clothed. So I got a bunch of them, but the one that I wanted to run in today, I'm going full supervillain mode. Look at this. This is one of the sickest singlets I have ever seen. I don't even know. It's Bio. What is it? Boa? Yeah, Boa is the brand. Look at this thing. I got a bunch of cool ones, but this one was just speaking to me because we're going hunting for some mileage. This is the Real Tree Camo singlet by Boa. I saw this and I just thought it was hilarious. I'd never seen anything like it. Yeah, Boa. Is it Boa or BOA? Is this the same brand that makes the lace styles, or is this a different brand? That's confusing. Yeah, just isn't this hilarious? A Real Tree running singlet. Yeah, Vaporlight running singlet. I got this on Running Warehouse. That's the thing with our discount code. You get 20% off of all apparel. So I'll put the link into it below if you want to look like a giant fool like me. So one thing is this upper isn't completely dialed. I went inside to change. I also retied it, and you can see up here it's loose, and it's just, look at this. This lace part is actually loose, same as these. It's hard to get a good secure fit up in the midfoot. Maybe it's going to be good if you have a wider foot. I don't know. It just feels odd up here. So it's not a huge issue, but it's also, if you're going to have a $500 shoe, I'd like this to be dialed. The upper, it weirdly feels cheap, which is just an odd thing for a $500 shoe. But let's get out of here. It is wet, so we'll see how this liquid rubber is. Man, early overreaction. This is just so tall. It feels comically tall. And it doesn't have that midfoot bump in the same way the Mizuno does or the Cielo. It's almost like a 4-foot bump. It's crazy. And this rocker, this might be the second most wild rocker of the year, right behind the Fast-R 3. It is so curved. And this very much feels like a marathon shoe, just with how much high cushion it has. It's so stacked in the 4-foot. Definitely not too soft. Yeah, at these warm-up paces, the craziest thing is just how much stack there is. This feels so tall. This is max cushion gang for sure. It's like a Primex Strong 2 with the weight of a streak fly. And the thing with it not being super soft, it's also not crazily bouncy at my warm-up paces. Oh man, it's already heating up out here. Feels like it's about 78 American with 99% humidity. Mile 1, 7:35 pace, warming up here. The grip is actually really good. And you heard it sticking on those hardwoods inside. Might be even better than the
regular Continental. So I just did a stride here, just a short burst of speed. And I always start off slower, warm up into it, treat these like drills. I was talking about this last week, but on one of them, I might focus on quick feet. On the next one, opening up the stride. On the next one, doing a certain thing with my ankles. On the next one, my arm carriage, having that be in a certain way, and then bringing it all together. And by the last one, I should be cruising at 420 pace on a good day. But on that first one, I hit 539 pace, which is just about my next goal marathon pace, and it feels perfect for that. And just warming up here, this is nothing like the Fast-R 3. It's not a particularly aggressive shoe at all, and that's what I was saying about the Evo Pro OG. You think $500 race shoe, and you think it's going to be this Formula One car that's so uncomfortable and harsh and rigid, and you have to be running 430 pace to optimize it. That's not what this is. This very much feels like the best version of a marathon shoe. High cushion, decent comfort, great rocker, and it's a rhythm shoe. Similar to the Mach X2, I'm just rolling along in it. It's not a shoe that's forcing me to sprint or go fast in the same way that the Fast-R 3 was. You could cruise 9-minute, 10-minute miles in this and be happy. Same thing as the Evo Pro OG, which is why makes me so frustrated that this is the $500 one, because this is actually the one that is going to work better for more people. It's smoother, more protective, not as gimmicky feeling as the regular Adios. There's no plate or rod feel in this, and the tuning of the foam is just perfect. And again, none of those things are what's making it $500. They could make a $250 shoe like this. They had one. It was the Adidas Pro 3. This feels more like the Air to the Adidas Pro 3. Crap, that car almost ran me off the road. I've got to be extra careful today because they can't see me. Yeah, this basically feels like a smoother Cielo OG that's 40% lighter. High cushion, stable. The stability on this is better than the Adidas Pro 4. It's also just really normal feeling. Again, it feels like the Prime X Strung 2 or the Glizzy Max. This honestly feels like a race version of the Glizzy Max. It's not aggressive at all, except when I want it to be. And the aggression comes from that rocker up in the front. Elongates my stride while giving me just so much protection in the midfoot. And at these strides paces, that bounce can just really open it up. So yeah, on that last one, I just got down to 509, but it's not an aggressive feeling effort. It's extremely smooth and controlled. It's tame. This is a really good shoe. It's the type of shoe where if the durability was good, people would be running all their miles in this. This is like the best version of the Super Blast, of what people like about that. protective, stable, bouncy, lightweight. All right, I'm gonna start the community challenge workout. I'm not feeling threshold mile repeats today, so instead I'm gonna do these alternations. Attack the uphills, cruise the flats and downhills. First uphill starting here. First uphill, 5:51 pace. These just completely disappear on foot. So good. That's what you want in a marathon shoe. And that's why I always say with the more aggressive ones, like the Fast-R 3, not everyone is gonna do well in those. I don't think I would do well in those because I'd just be thinking about it the entire time. Am I landing correctly? Am I fully activating it? With this, just as smooth on the heel as it is on the forefoot, just as comfortable and natural at a 10-minute pace as it is at that 5:30 and 4:30 pace. Oh, this is another uphill. That's the thing with these surge workouts. You gotta be prepared to go. Anytime, any place. So the other thing with this, it almost doesn't feel plated. I can't feel the plate or the rods, and I can't feel any of that aggression in a good way. This is just exactly what you want in a marathon shoe. And that was the whole ethos of the OG as well. Let's make the best possible marathon shoe. Comfort, no distractions, smooth ride, lightweight. They've nailed that. This is a nice evolution. And that's what the name stands for, Evo. It's ironic because in the first generation, that was the revolutionary breakthrough with the lightweight. We now see all these brands chasing lightweight. But this feels like a 3% update. They haven't made any massive departures, and that's a really good thing. It also just has that quality of the Super Max Stack shoes, the Mag Max, the Glycerin Max, the Nimbus, where you put them on and it's just, man, I could run forever. These are so comfortable. If you've seen that Wall Street Journal piece that's going around about the rise of the illegal running shoes, they talked about that. They interviewed a guy from a shoe brand who said these shoes with the additional cushion make it easier to run longer. And it's exactly what Max Cushion Gang is about. Stacking miles and comfort. When I put the Fast-R 3 on, I just want to take that thing off as quick as I can. I actually like the silver and red with the camo. It's a fire look. It's like I'm drinking Coors Light on a hunting trip. It's the Max Cushion Gang Lord. $500 shoes in the rainstorm because I got it out the mud like a real slug. Getting mileage in, that's my favorite drug. All right, next one. Yeah, I'm just cruising these right around half marathon effort, not pressing too hard. You know what this is? This is the Cullinan. This is the Rolls-Royce Cullinan. Big, cushy, wildly expensive, but it just eats up all the impact. It's not particularly nimble or sporty feeling, but it's designed for long distance cruises. Bang! Popping out the Cullinan. You know, with the Cullinan, there's an umbrella inside the door handle. $500,000 SUV, you get the umbrella in the door handle. I'm sure it's a nice umbrella. I feel like these should come with a t-shirt. or a pair of socks, maybe a custom fit pair of socks that match the exact size of the shoe. The bag is nice, but it's $500. Man, that's it. I'm ordering a stride pod after this. I try to keep it as low tech as possible, but it's impossible to train without knowing the pace. I need to learn my marathon pace because it doesn't feel natural, and with this watch the lag is so bad. By the time I'm done with this 1 minute, 2 minute rep here, I'm only getting 550, 6 flat on the watch. And then I click it and it gives me 530. This rocker is so good, man. It has that Alphafly downhill feeling where it just slants me forward. It makes it so easy to turn them over. I just have to fall into the next stride. Little rainstorm can't stop the mileage. Feeling like Shador because they slept on my perfect timing. You can't see the singlet, but the shoe's silver and vibrant. You can't see the work, but you know that I've been grinding. All right, let's go. Whew. It's coming down. I might start weighing these singlets too. Because this one, maybe before and after the run, weigh, but this one feels heavy and it's clinging to me. So swagger 100,000 million out of 10. But the weight, give it a 5 out of 10. And the fabric, the performance feel, 3 or 4 out of 10, I want to say. Not my favorite. But this will be a good afternoon double kind of tank top, or go to the beach with those guns out. Boys talking about strength training. I was thinking about this the other day. There's only a minimum level of weakness I can get because I have to haul around my children. Reevesy's now 40 pounds or something. And every so often, like Saturday, we'll go on a hike. And I'm just carrying him farmer style up the mountain because he doesn't want to walk anymore. What the heck? Classic. Bro, classic Barefoot Mafia and the Subaru. They wouldn't go around, so I had to run straight through the mud in my $521.36 max cushion shoes. Something I just thought about. If they made a streak fly competitor with this, so similar geometry, or just whatever Adidas's best aggressive geometry is, but same amount of foam, could that be under 100 grams? Because this has so much foam. This is up there. If we took all the foam and put it in a container, it would probably only be 10% less than the Mizuno Wave Rebellion Pro 3. So if there were a super stripped down version, a Takumi Sen Elite, could that be 98 grams? That'd be wild. Yeah, attacking some muddy corners in this. Grip is so good. Whew. That was one of the last big hills. Yeah, rain is coming down pretty good. Hold on, let me get around the corner here. I spoke too soon on the grip. It's not as good as Continental. It's solid, but when I do the test, really trying to jam my feet forward and see if it sticks, it's not sticking as much. And when I'm in more of a heel to midfoot strike, not sticking as much either. And yeah, with the additional rain coming down, this singlet's definitely tier B. Good, but not great. Getting heavier, but for what I paid, I think it was 35 to 40 bucks, around that. It's solid. Because the high-end singlets, the most expensive ones, are 100 plus, maybe even 200. So for training, it's a decent option. I don't think I'm gonna take it out when it's 95 degrees though. Some of these cars really think I'm about to step into the muddy grass with my $500 shoes on. These are half a rack, bro. I'm not stepping into the mud. Look at that blue stack. Beautiful day. We finished, but it's an emergency. It's an emergency. Straight for the baby wipes. I'm not messing around with these. $521.36. It's like twice the car payment for this mom wagon. That's crazy. Baby wipes. Baby wipes. Baby wipes. Here we go. These aren't baby wipes, but those will do the trick. Let me just bring this whole thing over. Bang! Alright, here we go. Finished our morning run in the Evo Pro. 12 miles, 7:19 pace, 1 hour, 29 minutes, and 26 seconds. That was not a particularly good run. I wasn't feeling particularly strong or fast. We got it done though. And here's the thing about hobby jogger math. In my mind, I think, okay, the last two workouts I did, Sunday, we got in a 20 miler and I actually skipped the workout portion. It was supposed to be threshold, but I was feeling so bad that I didn't do the threshold. So that doesn't count. That's a recovery day basically. And then the workout before that on Wednesday, it was just a surge workout, just some minor repeats, 200s and 400s. That was 30 seconds per mile slower than I wanted to be. Wasn't feeling great. So that doesn't count either. That's a recovery day. No, that's not how it works. But in my mind, I think, okay, I had a few bad workouts. That's basically rest. No, it's the opposite. When we have bad workouts, that means our body needs rest. I don't know who needs to hear this, but a bad workout is not a recovery day. That's how my mind works. I genuinely think if I have a bad workout, it doesn't count. My body is just good to go for the next day. And yeah, man, that's what I said last week. One bad workout is just a bad workout. 2 or 3 bad workouts in a row, that's a problem with the system. So if you're missing on pace a lot or just feeling weak, I need to wipe down these products here. I can't let the dirt sit on these for any
any longer than it needs to. $521.36. But yeah, if you're feeling weak multiple days in a row or just off, that means you need some recovery. So I might not do any more workouts for the rest of the week. And the thing with me is my mileage can always be there. It's really the pace and the intensity that gets me. So probably keep the mileage up, but just cut down on the pace. Let the body recover so we can get back to it next week. Adidas Pro Evo 2. It's been raining on and off for the past dang near 48 hours. We actually went on a hike on Mother's Day and it was completely raining, but we still had fun. You can get out in the rain, you can get out in the sun, you can get out in the fog, it doesn't matter. It's all about enjoying the great outdoors. That is one of the reasons I like coming out here and filming outside. I just like being outside. It's much better than being inside. It is getting really warm though, man. I can feel these UV rays coming down on my skin right now. I need some sunscreen. Shout out to Revive and Revell. All right, Adidas Evo Pro 2. Let's do up the run from this morning. This was a great shoe. So I got 12 miles in, nice time on feet, 90 minutes, and this shoe felt perfect for that. There are so many good qualities to it, but it's not what you would expect from a $500 race shoe. So for this run, I did a few miles warm up and then we did a hilly loop route around here. So I surged the uphills, aiming for around half marathon effort, and then glided relaxed pace on the flats and the downhill. So nice mixed pace testing of this shoe. Some of those uphills ended being up about 5:30. Some of them were closer to 6. Some of them were in the middle, some faster, some slower. So a lot of pace ranges. And this shoe is beautiful because it works well across all of those pace ranges. It's not like the Fast-R 3 or the Sky Paris, these aggressive, stripped down, streamlined shoes that feel harsh and rigid at the slower paces. It's like a Max Cushion Gang Cruiser. It's like a More V5 or even the Primex Strung 2. Or a Glycerin Max or a Mag Max that you can race in. I'm seeing stuff over there. Yeah, so the kicker here is this comes in at 150 grams or 140 grams. Bad QA, by the way, on Adidas's part. It comes in at a super lightweight, but the stack height is so tall. And that's really what characterizes the ride of this shoe. It's a big, thick, cushioned cruiser that feels awesome at a variety of paces. It doesn't feel too aggressive. It also doesn't feel cumbersome. And with the way that this foam is tuned, it's not this super soft, squishy compound. I'm worried about that with the Metaspeed Ray. It very much feels like an Adidas Pro 3. The best version of that shoe. Why did people love the Adidas Pro 3? It was not for its speed capability. It was not for being the fastest, most aggressive shoe out there. It was not even for being the lightest weight shoe out there. It was because it had the race foam, it had the bounce, but it also had the stability and the key here, the solidity, the feeling of being solid, of structure, of having that robust underfoot sensation. When you're throwing power down, your ankles aren't wobbling side to side. It's not like the Saucony Endorphin Elite 2 that's a marshmallow in the heel. It's not even like the Alphafly where you are sinking down a good degree to get the benefit of the AirPod. A very, what's the best word to describe it? I think it's solid, stable, structured, robust. It feels like a heavy shoe. Not heavy in the sense that it's gonna weigh you down, but in the sense that it's gonna take some muscle to move it, to activate it. You're not gonna be sinking down and bottoming this out. So that's what I love about this shoe. Very similar to the V1. V1 was almost the same exact experience where I came out here and I was saying, man, this ride isn't gonna blow you away. It's not crazy soft, it's not crazy bouncy, it just feels nice. And that's what it feels like Adidas did with this shoe. Yes, it's $500, but they amped up everything that I love about marathon shoes. Having good stability, having nice protection underfoot, the smooth rocker, and the ride experience, other than it being lightweight and a ton of cushion, the nice thing is this rocker It almost feels like the Streak Fly when I'm running fast, in the sense that if you look at how I'm holding this shoe, that's where the shoe wants you to go. It's just gonna put you up here and keep those legs ticking over. So if you can get a nice rhythm with this, similar to how I was describing the Mach X2 yesterday, if you can get a nice rhythm in this, you are just gonna keep cranking and rolling. And it's not a shoe that I would need to put a lot of power down. I don't have to throw my full weight into it to activate it. I can just go out there and glide. So not an aggressive shoe, a very comfortable shoe. And it's surprising because it's not what you'd expect for a $500 race shoe, but it feels very reliable and sturdy, almost like if they took the Ghost Max and made it a race shoe. So let's go through those 3 questions that we always answer on these first run reviews. First, how does this compare to its intended purpose? So Adidas Evo Pro, this is designed to be a long distance marathon shoe, the most comfortable, the lightest weight, the fastest, and it does a really good job. I am glad that Adidas went with this concept still in the 2 versus trying to make it way more aggressive because that's what other people are doing. No. What's beautiful about this is that it is so accessible and approachable. I could give this to any runner. I could give this to a new runner. I could give this to a 2-hour marathon runner. I could give this to a 5-hour marathon runner, and it would work well. So that's what you're getting for $500, and it's really the opposite of how a lot of these shoes are, because typically the more expensive you go, the more niche you go, the more specialized the ride is. And yes, this is a niche shoe. It's an elite marathon racing shoe, but it works well, really well, across a variety of paces and foot strikes and efforts. It felt just as natural at that relaxed 830 heel strike as it did for the strides when I was getting down to 5 flat. So for its intended purpose, it does great, and it's awesome having a shoe this lightweight with this much cushion. It's not something that really registers when you're out there on the run, but it's just so easy to tick over the legs. It's not often where you're gonna be running along and saying, oh my gosh, this shoe feels so lightweight. It's more the reverse. When you're getting deep into a long run and you have a heavy shoe, you can feel it. But with this, you're never gonna feel that, and you get so much cushion and protection, which brings me to question number 2. How does this do versus other shoes in the category? And what's awesome about this ride here is just the midfoot stack. It's insane. It's like the Cielo. It's like the Mizuno Wave Rebellion Pro 2, even more cushion than the Alphafly. It is just so tall and so stacked, which is one of the things that makes it so pleasant to just jog along in. It's not aggressive, and it has a lot of cushion. I feel like I could daily this. This could be a daily trainer. This could be the Max replacement. If this were more durable, I just might. It is that comfortable. So the upper isn't the most comfortable compared to other shoes in the category, and that was actually the one weakest point of it. Well, the fact that they were 10 grams apart was disappointing to me. That's not going to affect the ride on paper. I just wish the quality were better for what I'm paying for. But the other thing is the upper here, it just didn't feel dialed in the front. This material is not the best. They're still going for hyper lightweight. That's the theme of this whole shoe here. So with that, the material they chose just doesn't work as well as other uppers. The upper in the Adidas Pro 4 is actually really good. So if they put that upper on this and somehow made this more durable, that would be one of the best race shoes out there. But compared to all the other shoes in the category, it's not the most aggressive. It's not even top 3 most aggressive. I would say Alphafly, Fast-R, and Sky Paris all feel more aggressive than this. What this is, though, is the most cushioned, or one of the most cushioned, up there with the SC Elite V4, and also up there with the SC Elite V4 and the old Adidas Pro 3 and the Cielo OG for stability. It is a very stable shoe. Look at this, nice wide rear base here, and again, not super soft. So I didn't feel at all that there was any issues with my ankle turning. And then on cornering, I also didn't feel that there was any issues whatsoever. Now, when it comes to the grip, this was a mixed bag at some paces, and for some of the run, especially in this neighborhood, I thought it was good, even on more muddier corners when I was turning. But then when I got out into the main road on the sidewalk over there on 51, felt like I was slipping some. And also when I was landing more on the back, it felt like I was slipping, maybe because I wasn't activating any of the rubber, or there was no rubber to even touch the ground back here. So I would give this grip a 6 out of 10. Light Strike Pro or Continental is maybe 8 out of 10. This was a 6 or a 7, and it's not going to be raining for every race, so it's not a huge deal. And it's definitely better than something like the Saucony Endorphin Elite,
which I did choose for my Chicago Marathon racing shoe last year, and I got my goal time and I got my PR. So it's not going to matter all the time. And even in those big, oh man, we have the mosquitoes out here again. But in those big races, you're going to be going through the water stations. I'm getting destroyed. But yeah, in the big races, you're going to be going through the water stations and everything, and you could be slipping, but this will be fine for that. I would not worry about it, not an issue, but it's also not as good as the Puma grip and some of the Continental out there. The thing is, if you're buying a $500 race shoe, you're likely not the type of person who is not going to buy the shoe because the grip is a 6 to 6.5 out of 10 versus an 8 out of 10. You're probably going to buy it regardless. Question number 3, how does this compare to everything else on the market? This is where we bring in price. Is this worth $500? That's not for me to say. That's for you to say. Do you want to spend $500 on a running shoe? Personally, if I weren't running this channel, I would not spend $500 on a race shoe. This is a business expense, and I test it as a service. That's part of the services that we provide at Supwell, shoe testing. It is a shoe that is sold on the American market, and I try to test 95% of the shoes sold on the American market that people have any interest in. So that's why I bought it. Should you buy this shoe? If you have disposable income and you're interested in the culture of running shoes, you could. I don't think it's the type of shoe, though, that is going to Charles was coming back with the kids. I don't think it's going to blow you away. It's not the type of shoe that blew me away. There's nothing here that's new that feels different than any of the other shoes you've tried in the past year if you've sampled from the different brands and the different high-performing options on the market. It has the stack and the bounce of something like the Mag Max. It has the aggressive rocker of something like the Alphafly or the Saucony Endorphin series. It has the comfort and the long-run capability of a lot of the other marathon shoes like the Cloudboom Strike. What's different is that it brings it all together in one package. High stack, lightweight, bounce, and speed. It really is the ultimate marathon shoe. So if you actually want to buy something for a peak marathon performance, that's where it would make sense to buy this. But if you're buying something to train in and you're looking for the most fun shoe out there, this is not it. What's so awesome about this is the reliability. It's all those silent boxes that you want to check, right? The comfort, the no weirdness, the smoothness. It doesn't have anything that's going to make you say, gosh, dang, but the package comes together in a really nice way that does make it the best race day option for the marathon for people who are going to want comfort and speed over long distances. So if you are seeking new experiences, Fast-R 3, that's a new experience. Even something like the Asics Metaspeed Sky Paris, Nike Streak Fly, that's a new experience. Puma Mag Max or Brooks Glycerin Max, those are the new experience type of shoes. This is a shoe that's threading the needle and combining a lot of elements of the top shoes on the market into one shoe that just completely nails it. So it's boring in all the right ways, unremarkable in all the right ways. And I was thinking about out there, I was saying, what do I want in a marathon shoe? In a marathon shoe, I want something that I don't have to think about. I want something that's gonna feel good for 2.5, 3 hours. I want something that's gonna feel similar to a training shoe, what I'm used to running in, but that I can run fast in. I want something that's gonna give me some speed assistance. I also want something where if I am slowing down or going up a hill or going down a hill or turning, that's not gonna distract me and that's not gonna feel weird. That's the beauty of this thing. It's a perfectly distraction-free shoe that feels purpose-built for running moderately hard for 2 to 3 hours. So Adidas Evo Pro 2, complete thumbs up. I don't even know when I'm gonna run this again. This is the type of shoe that I would actually run a marathon in. With the Fast-R 3, I don't even know if I'd run a marathon in it because it's so aggressive. That's the nice thing about this. It's not so aggressive that I wouldn't want to run a marathon in it. I could also see myself running 4 hours in this. If I were doing a road 50K, which, by the way, I'm never doing that. I don't think I'm ever going to do ultras again. I do not like ultras, but that's the type of shoe this is. I could actually see it working well for a 4-hour marathon or a 5-hour marathon because
it's just that comfortable, and the stability, there's no issues with it, right? It feels like a Bandai in terms of the stability and the cushion. So that's the cool part of this shoe. Last thing I'll say here, I just really wish they took the elements in here, the $500 race shoe that make it good, and they put it on the Adidas Pro, the standard shoe, because what's making this good is not the technology of the lightweight foam. It's not anything they've done from an engineering standpoint that would warrant the $500 cost. It's the reliability. It's the tuning of the foam. That's not super soft and squishy. It's the stability. It's the cushion. You can do all of those things in a $275 or $300 package. Puma has it in a $230 package. Saucony had it in the Endorphin Elite in the $275 package. Asics has it in the S4 Plus in a $200 package. So that's what Adidas is missing from their lineup right now. I know a lot of people like the Adios Pro 4, but it is a very soft shoe. This is not. This is right in that Goldilocks zone, and it is perfect for it. So Adidas, please give us something that is more reliable and less polarizing in the Adios Pro 5. If this were $300 or $250, it would sell like hotcakes, and it would be one of the best marathon shoes out there. But unfortunately, we have to recommend, well, not unfortunately, fortunately for Puma, we have to recommend the Deviate Nitro Elite 3, because that is the best version of what this does at a reasonable price point with 95% of the performance. So Adios Pro 3, RIP, Evo Pro 2, thumbs up. Adios Pro 4, they could have done more. They could have done more with that. But yeah, this one is a complete banger. I'll be saving it for probably one long run in before my next marathon, whenever that is, and then maybe this will be the marathon shoe, unless something else comes out, or unless I'm feeling really spicy, then I would go for the Fast-R 3, but I just go for comfort and reliability over a speed and aggression option for the marathon. That is my personal take. All right, that's all I have for you today. I'll be back tomorrow with another video. Man, I was hungry. I've got to start fueling up before these. Woo! It's honestly depressing when I spend $521.36 on a running shoe, and then the President of the United States accepts a $400 million, can't even say it, it's so much money, $400 million jet. Makes me feel like, what's the point? You know, I try to, integrity and transparency. That's silly. That is silly. Who cares? Who cares about that? Send me the shoes. I'm going to start accepting shoes for free now. I'm over this. Here's the thing. I don't care about I think a lot of people, the running shoe influencers get the shoes sent for free, and then they're nice to the brands because they want to go on the trips. Bro, I do not want to go on the trips. I was thinking about this yesterday, because here's the thing. Berlin Marathon, do I want to go to the Berlin? No, because if I try to do the Berlin Marathon, you run 100 miles every week. You need to fly halfway across the world to run 26 miles and leave your family at home. And then what would be even worse is trying to fly with the family to the Berlin Marathon. That would truly be horrible. Can you imagine? I don't fly with the 6-year-old, the 3-year-old, the 1-year-old. You could not pay me to fly to the Berlin Marathon with my family. Sounds miserable.
What do you think of this bag?
Is it marked up the price of the...
No, it just came with the $500 shoe. Do you think this is a
$500 bag?
Is it worthy?
Well, is it like some special material? It feels like polyester to me, but...
Would you mom in it?
Sure. Farmer's market?
Okay.
Yeah, whatever. It's translucent. Why are they obsessed with white and black?
Fit lots of jam in
Oh,
there.
I see. It's like each shoe goes
Yeah.
inside.
Yeah, well, I was
Or it
thinking you
could
could
be
put
for-
diapers and snacks.
Or wine.
Yeah, it seems like one of those wine bags too, yeah. You think it'll make the rotation?
In the farmer's market?
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes I prefer the natural materials to be touching my vegetables, but...
That's the thing, too plasticky.
Run number 2. Run number 2. Man, look at this. I'm glad I doubled back for run number 2 today on film with the testing, because then I get to show these beautiful Carolina blue cerulean skies. I mean, it's just unreal. If you zoom in, it just looks fake. Look at how blue that is. That's wild. You know, it's not blue. Our shoes for this run. Bang! Adidas Adistar 3. These are the gym coach, the PE teacher 5000s right here. Extremely swagless shoe. They've got the repetitor foam, but I thought it would be fun if we ran in Adidas's cheapest running shoe. Now, they have shoes that are less expensive than this, but this is the bottom of their performance lineup. I think the SL2 would actually be the bottom of their performance lineup, but this is the one of the cheapest shoes you could buy that's designed to be a solid, legitimate running shoe. So, max cushion shoe, nice, slightly softer foam. I ran in this in the winter when it was super cold, and it didn't break up at all. It's standard EVA. This is designed to be just a comfortable cushion cruiser at a solid price. I think in the U.S., if you can even find these anywhere, it's about $130, but I don't even know if you could still buy this in the U.S. But I'm going to run it anyway, regardless of whether you could buy it or not, and see. Most expensive shoe in the morning and then cheapest shoe in the afternoon. Is this one to consider if you could find it? Oh man, there's a lot of ants out here. Luckily they're outside. But yeah, I've been doing these double tests where in the morning I'll run an aggressive shoe, in the afternoon a comfortable shoe. Lacing this up, oh man, it feels very basic. Definitely doesn't have the same step-in feel as the Vomero and the comfortable cushion shoes I've been running in recently. Very much feels like an entry-level shoe. I remember actually liking this on the first run, but I do remember saying it looks and feels extremely basic. But what you're getting here is a lot of foam. It does have a higher drop. It didn't feel like, or no, I think it had a moderate drop, and then it felt like a higher drop. I think on paper they say 6, but it feels taller. Yeah, good cushion. Feels very stable here on the lace-up. Let's just go get these miles in and see. Man, I really liked that. I'm surprised at how much I liked it. I remember it being good, but that was really good. 4.2 on miles, 8:16 pace, 34 minutes, and 46 seconds. Yeah, super comfortable, easy to run in, great impact absorption with some bounce. This makes me want to do some high mileage testing on it. We'll have to see what the availability is, because if it's not available to buy anywhere in the U.S., there's no point in doing that. And Adidas has been weird with the Adios 9, for example. You can't get that one anywhere. But yeah, this feels like a solid daily trainer, right up there with something like the Brooks Ghost in terms of a simple, reliable shoe. It has just enough cushion, decently smooth, and it just disappears on foot. So I'm really happy with this. Oh, look at that. Look who it is. I guess the mayor is a shoe sicko too. His wife's going to come out and yell at him. But yeah, man, this is a great shoe. I'm going to do some more testing on this. The grip was also solid. This just has everything that I want in a daily trainer. And it's the rare, cheaper shoe like the Adizero SL2 where I do think I would pull for this some days over more expensive shoes like the Nova Blast 5 and the Mag Max. So this warrants another run for sure. I'm glad I doubled back on it because this is a quality shoe. I'll just have to go and investigate if you can even buy it anywhere. But 16-mile day of running. I could use some recovery. I'm going to get some good calories in later today. make sure I get a few days of just relaxed miles, because these workouts have not been hitting as they should be. And my recovery runs have just been recovery, but it's a process, man. This training is so cyclical, and I've been going through these periods where 2 weeks I'm feeling great. I'm destroying every workout, smashing my pace targets by 15 seconds per mile. And then the next 2 weeks, it's just recovery. But that's what it is. We have to build and then recover. And I'm still trying to dial in what is the frequency and intensity I should be running to make sure my fitness is increasing, but I'm not dipping in the tank too much. And it's really hard. If anyone tells you they have the answer exactly figured out, they're lying. They're lying. It takes some time to dial in. That sounded negative. I don't want to accuse anybody of lying, but there is no one-size-fits-all template. Everybody has to figure out what the right level of intensity is, and also how comfortable are you pushing that line. I am very comfortable pushing the line and seeing what my limits are, and I've been fairly injury resistant, knock on wood, but I know I can. I'm also younger, right? I know I can push myself and bounce back. Even if the next week it means I'm missing pace, I'm okay with stacking some more workouts back to back to back and seeing how I handle it. So everyone's got to figure that out. My goal, though, coming out of this recovery period is going to be not push it so hard so I can have more consistent workouts. I would love to run 2 workouts every week and not feel like I need a bunch of recovery every time. So that's going to be my next goal for this summer, just dialing in my training as I ramp to the next marathon block. I'm going to run a marathon in, I think October is the one that I'm eyeing. So that means July is when I'll start my next serious block of training. So until then, hop in a few 5Ks and figure out what is the best way to train for a 230. How can I best optimize my current fitness and capability? But some good running today, even if the workout wasn't as amazing and awesome as I'd hoped. But guess what? Some days a good mid-workout is a good mid-workout, and that's exactly what we need. So I'll be back tomorrow with another video. I appreciate you all.